5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother. What we do here is go back.
Hey everybody, it's Jensen and Jessi Davin, and we're going to be talking about AEW Double or Nothing today, because I thought it was a pretty awesome show, and so did Jessi. So, if you have anything you want to talk about in the chat today that you want, if you want a question read or answered, a statement read, want to be part of the show, you want to get involved, Super Chat's the best way to do that, because we are going to probably have a hard time keeping up with the chat. We expect it to be probably pretty busy today, and we really appreciate everybody for, joining the chat and talking and the discussion. But, we expect the show to be pretty heavy chat-wise, because there's probably a lot of opinions out there about the show last night. So if you want us to dive deep on your question or statement, Super Chat is the best way to do that. We make sure to always dive deep on those. Before we get started on Double or Nothing, Jessi, how are you doing today?
Doing good, doing good. What a great show. That was freaking amazing. I just want to say it was so needed. I think the entire wrestling community needed a distraction from just all of the horrible, horrible, sad, tragic things that have been happening lately, not in just the world, but in our community in general. So I'm really happy about that. I'm really thankful and grateful. We're supposed to have a beach day today, but it got rained out, so that's okay. So we're here, we're talking. So how are you?
I'm doing great. Me and Jesse were talking a little bit before the stream, but for those of you watching now, yeah, yesterday went and did some boxing with my brother over at Steel Boxing and Athletics. So got a good boxing workout in the morning. Then at night, me, my brother, and two of our friends watched Double or Nothing together, and it was a lot of fun because obviously I'm a hardcore wrestling fan. I have another friend who's a hardcore wrestling fan that was there, and then my brother and my other friend I'd consider to be basically casual fans, if not like less than casual fans. So pretty wide array of
Yeah, perspectives.
perspectives, exactly. Which I think added to the show too, because um, we'll talk about it, but there were certain things that like my friend who's like especially a casual fan, I guess, um, the stuff that he popped for, I thought was really interesting. Like
Really?
I mean, like it kind of expected, but like we'll talk about it. But it was interesting getting his perspective of the show and being like, I wonder what he's gonna like because fresh eyes, like pretty much completely fresh eyes. So like there's like no bias or anything going into it. It's just like what he saw, which, yeah. So we'll talk about that. But yeah, overall, I thought the show was really good. I know that you enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, definitely. A little bit long. A little bit long. There were some matches that I don't think were necessary on the pay-per-view. However, it did not take away from how fantastic the entire thing was. So, yeah.
Yeah. Let us know in the chat what you thought about the show. Whether you super chat or not, like we'll try to keep an eye on, um, you know, obviously the big kind of questions that I would have for people watching the show would be as me and Jesse go through the card match by match. Like, do you think that the right person won? Like, were you happy with the result? Upset with the result? What did you think about the actual match? Do you think it was a good match, a bad match? It was kind of a meh match that like didn't kind of need to be
Meh match.
a meh match?
Meh match.
Let us know where you think things are headed. When we're talking about these matches, like, what do you think is next for the winners? What do you think is next for the losers? Like, I'm really interested to hear what everybody thinks because the majority of this show was, like, in our prediction live chat, I talked about how pretty much the whole show I wanted somebody to win, but was predicting the opposite to win. Pretty much all the people I wanted to win won their matches.
Yeah.
So, like, I was really happy about that. I wasn't mad that my predictions were wrong. There was no WrestleRumble.com entries, contest entries, or anything up for grabs. So, like, low risk predictions. But yeah. Is there anything you want to talk about before we just jump into reviewing the matches?
I think we should probably, I'll save like my little piece on Hana till the end. I'd like to get into the review first because it makes me happy. So
Yeah, I'm good with that.
yeah. But yeah, well, I can say this, like in general, there wasn't really like we said in the review or in the predictions, we really want this person to win, but we think this person's gonna win, like the opposite person. It makes sense for this person to win, but a lot of these we were like, and we'll get into like in detail, but no one really looked bad in their loss, if that makes any sense. Like there wasn't really a loss where you're like, ooh gosh, except for one, which we'll get into.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah. I think everyone does. There was like everybody looked good in their losses. No one came out looking like a fool, save that one. So I think that was very, very good.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into it. I got the matches right here. So, We can just start at the top of the card and work
Yeah.
the main event. First up, we had the Best Friends, Chuck and Trent, defeating Private Party. Match went 15 minutes long, and Best Friends is now the number one contenders for the tag team titles. Jesse, what do you think about this match, and what do you think about the Best Friends as the number one contenders?
I'm okay with Best Friends being number one contenders. Of course, they have that Orange Cassidy element, which always makes it interesting. And I think, if you're not going to have him being the number one contender for the TNT Championship or anything, I feel like having him be beside the number one contenders for the tag team championships is fine. It was a little sloppy. There were a couple things you could see. I think was it Trent getting like visibly frustrated a couple times with a few of the botches. However, it was still fun. It was an opening match. It was a pre-show match, so I'm not mad at it. It was fun. Love Private Party. Would like to see them more on TV. But it makes sense the Best Friends won because they've been on TV. They've been having matches a lot more than Private Party has. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I was surprised, I guess, by the amount of botches.
Yeah.
From my perspective, it seemed like it was mostly on Private Party. But, I mean, I could be wrong, but I just remember when I was watching it last night, I just kind of remember thinking, I was actually surprised that they kind of were exposed like that a little bit, because they've had such incredible matches in AEW, especially against the Young Bucks in that inaugural tag team tournament. They pretty much worked flawlessly against the best tag team. In my opinion, the Young Bucks are probably the best tag team in the world currently. So I hadn't really seen that out of Private Party yet, as far as that amount of what seemed like botches on their end. And part of that too is another reason why I was really glad to see Best Friends win. I already wanted them to win. A lot of that had to do just solely because I'm a very big fan of Chuck and Trent, separately or as a tag team. I think the two guys are really entertaining. I like how they don't take themselves seriously, social media and stuff. They're relatable guys. They're just goofy, funny dudes, that have really good matches consistently. Literally the only, and personally I like it as a fan, but you see a guy, because I'm a very big fan of Chuck Taylor, but you see a guy like Trent Beretta, and it's or Trent question mark, whatever his name is, you see that guy and you're man, because he has the look, the everything, Trent looks like a main event dude for
does,
in my opinion. Chuck could be as well. He just doesn't have the same physical presentation as Trent's got a 8-pack or 12-pack. Dude just looks like he's shredded, and he's just total athlete. Does really good moves. I really like his moveset. So I'm really happy to see the two of them get the win, and I really hope that Hangman and Kenny hold on to the titles, and that we get Best Friends versus Hangman and Kenny, because I think that match would be incredible. Face versus you don't even need a heel team. Just have another great tag team match.
There's so much potential with this. It makes sense. I completely agree. It is an interesting dynamic that they have. I absolutely love it. And to kind of piggyback what you were saying, about Private Party just being shocked that there were so many mistakes. I feel like this whole quarantine thing kind of has to do with it. They haven't been wrestling on TV, and it's not like they're out in the indies or out doing other shows or anything right now. They're not actually wrestling, so I have a feeling that has something to do with it. Have they been on AEW Dark at all?
I don't know if they've been on Dark. I know they've been on Being the Elite, but that's a different thing, obviously. Peter Davies in the chat said they seem to be getting blown up, which I saw. I was thinking that as well, and so are the people I was watching the show with. I don't know how hot it was when they were, because I think they taped all those matches. I don't know how much of that was live.
No, I think the actual pay-per-view was live, but I think the Stampede match was filmed the night before.
Right, that was definitely pre-taped for sure. Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's how they did it as well, where it was, because I don't know why they would have left some of the botches in had it not been live. But if it was, if all these matches were live last night, aside from the Stampede, of course, I think it was like 80 something degrees probably. Like,
It was humid.
yeah, so like I could understand cardio not being there like it normally would be for a lot of the talent, having to work outside in that kind of heat and humidity. Like, I gotta give them a little credit for, or a little leeway for that. Like, it's because Private Party's offense is based so much on like speed and like getting in the right place at the right time, and like, and if your cardio isn't what it normally is, some of those kicks might be a little lazy, and like that's kind of where it was happening. It was like one of the guys would like go for like a kick or something and like not get their leg up all the way, or like be able to like to hold it in the right spot so the guy could his opponent could catch it or something, and it just looked kind of sloppy. So I could someone said something about an echo. Yeah, let me see if I can fix that on I'll do my best.
La 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 la.
If the echo continues to happen, please continue to let me know in the chat, because I will keep trying to fix it. But yeah, that's where I'm at on that match. I thought it was a really solid match, aside from Private Party looking a little bit sloppy, but aside from that, great opener for the pre-show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Moving on, a great opener for the pay. We had the casino ladder match for the number one contendership to the AEW title, where Brian Cage was the mystery entrant, and he was accompanied by Taz, which is very interesting. Looks like Taz is going to be managing Brian Cage, which I like a lot. I really, really like how AEW has continuing to incorporate these former wrestlers as managers.
Yes.
Their talent.
So it's a nice way to say we're passing the torch.
Yeah, exactly. And it gives the casual viewer immediate like credibility of that performer. Like my friend, for instance, last night had never seen Brian Cage before, and obviously right when he saw him he's like, dude, that guy is,
Jacked.
the first thing you say is like roids.
Right.
But then after that, you're like, roids or not, that's a large, muscular. I mean, that guy is huge. They have a performer on AEW called Big Swole. The female performer. When I hear the name Big Swole, I think of like that. Like that's Big Swole. Right there. Yeah. Yeah. Oof. Monster. Obviously, I'm very familiar with Brian Cage's work, especially when he was in Impact, as long as he was, and cover all those shows for Fightful's Weekender. Like, so I'm very knowledgeable on Brian Cage, but my friend, aside from Brian Cage's physical appearance, he immediately is like, oh yeah, he's with Taz, like, because he knew Taz back when ECW and WWF and stuff. So like, even the casual audience, even if they don't watch AEW and they have no idea who Brian Cage is, they might remember Taz from back in the day and be like, oh, I remember Taz being a badass. Like, if Taz is endorsing this guy's probably badass also. So I think that's really smart. He's the new number one contender, which is wild. His first match in AEW gets the number one contendership, defeats Darby Allin, Colt Cabana, Orange Cassidy, Joey Janela, who was a replacement for Ray Phoenix, who got injured on Dynamite, Scorpio Sky, Kip Sabian, who had Penelope Ford with him, Frank Kazarian, and Luchasaurus. I really, really enjoyed this match. I thought the actual match type was brilliant. It's like the Royal Rumble style ladder match. We've never really seen that before. I would imagine they'll continue to use that because the response, at least from what I've seen, has been incredibly positive. Love the match, love the spots. It would take way too long to go over all that, but really, really great stuff from everybody involved. When I was talking about my buddy popping for people, he loved Orange Cassidy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, which is like, that's when it works. When like a guy who doesn't watch the show, who has no idea what's going on, sees this dude. Basically, he had seen him in Atlanta when we all went to the show together, but that's all he had seen. And all he did was like one thing on the outside during that Atlanta show. He didn't have a match or anything. So this is the first time he's really seeing Orange Cassidy, and he was like, this is the best. Like, he was legitimately laughing his ass off sitting there watching him. Like, the first thing Orange Cassidy does is walk to the announce table, and he's like, "How do you win this match?"
I know, and I love how he took forever to walk to the ring, and they just kept playing his song. I thought he was gonna go that full 2 minutes.
Me too.
I thought that would have been funny.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Like that whole thing where he like couldn't set up the ladder and like couldn't reach the ladder. Yeah. Oh,
That was brilliant.
brilliant. That whole match was brilliant. Darby doing the
So wicked. Yes, onto the ladder. Jesus.
Yeah, so I loved it. I'll be completely honest. I'm not huge on Brian Cage winning the match, mainly
Yeah.
because it's his first match. I mean, you've given him immediate credibility. Like I don't hate that, but and I think that him versus Moxley is an interesting matchup, and I think it's another good matchup that Moxley can win and keep looking impressive. But there's also obviously I had chosen Darby to win the match, but there's other people that have like really put their time in AEW and like kind of deserved it more than Brian Cage. But I don't hate Brian Cage winning. What did you think about Cage winning the match? The match itself and all that stuff.
Yeah, so I loved it. I thought it was a great match. There were a lot of fun spots. The Marco stunt one with the little ladder. At first I was like him getting on that little ladder to slap. Who did he slap? Who did he slap?
I can't remember. I remember it happening.
Kip Sabian or somebody? It was somebody. I can't remember. But at first I was like, I could have done without that. But then when Joey Janela like started using it as a weapon, I was like, all right. Because I feel like, I don't like to compare because I feel like both companies deserve their own individual recognition. But I feel like in like WWE or something, you would have gotten like that little ladder spot and it would have been hokey pokey. And like we just would have forgotten about it. That little ladder just would have been there or it would have been gone. Like at least it was utilized in multiple ways. So I'm okay with it. I thought the match was great. I thought it was really fun. I feel like it was a much better style and a more fun opener than like a battle royal. I feel like this was a really fun way to get people to do like really cool stuff and to get people's attention, especially as an opening match. And I love that they had the 2-minute counter in the back because I feel like during like every Royal Rumble, it's like, it's been 90 seconds, it's been 5 minutes, it's been 30 seconds. What? Like, there's no actual real sense of time. Like, really fast. I loved everyone kind of had their own individual moment safely. Brian Cage winning, I agree with you. Am I mad at it? No. Do I disagree with it? Yes, to an extent. I get it. It gives him credibility. But at the same time, like I know someone in this chat said, a lot of people, and you said a lot of people have put so much work into, they've done their time in AEW a lot, and I feel like there's other people more deserving of that. However, it does give him a credibility, and he's got Taz with him, and I do believe Tony Khan or somebody on the post Double or Nothing media scrum call said that Brian Cage was going to defend his title, or Jon Moxley was going to challenge Brian Cage at Fyter Fest, which was supposed to take place in London, actually, but it's not, obviously. So that's when he gets his chance. So that's good. But yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was fun, and a fantastic opener.
Yeah, totally agree. And so, do you think that Moxley will retain over Brian Cage when they wrestle?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting, and we'll get to more thoughts on Mox and his title reign a little bit later on in the show for sure. So after that we had MJF versus Jungle Boy. MJF got the win. What did you think about this match, and what do you think about MJF getting the win?
I loved this match. I actually thought it was really great. MJF, while being freaking amazing on the mic, hasn't really had too much, like, obviously the match with Cody was really good, but it's like he doesn't really fight a lot, but when he fights, it's really good. And I feel like him and Jungle Boy really complemented each other in this like brutal kind of old school style. It was really great. It was really fun. I mean, my God, it lasted almost 20 minutes. It was fantastic that they kept, challenging each other. They really, because I kind of worried that they were going to squash Jungle Boy a little bit. Like, I was kind of worried because, I mean, he's not as big as MJF, and MJF has Wardlow with him. But I thought the match was great. I felt it was really fun. It was very tough. And when you think of MJF, you think tough guy, not a little bit of a chicken shit heel, but a chicken shit heel that could kick your ass. And I thought that it really showed not only that MJF is tough on the mic, but he's tough in the ring. And I thought it showed that Jungle Boy can really freaking go. And I think with Luchasaurus doing so well in the ladder match and really showing his strength, and then Jungle Boy kind of really showing his strength in this match, it does kind of collectively give Jurassic Express some sort of like credibility in a sense, even though they kind of lost. But it's like, well, they lost, but they put up a really good fight. So imagine what they're going to be like together as a tag team again. So I'd really like to see where they sorry, I hit the table. Where they go with that. Thought it was really good. I really liked it.
Yeah, I really liked it as well. I think MJF was the right choice to win. Like, they're clearly building him to be, I mean, I could see him being the one to maybe take out Moxley, in a handful.
Ooh.
That, like, I really, really like the career trajectory of MJF. I think it's very smart. He's a young guy who's very good in the ring. He doesn't even show much. I mean, last night he showed a good amount of it. He went out there and did some like really cool, moves and showed off his athleticism a bit against Jungle Boy, who is super athletic himself. But that's the thing about MJF that a lot of people I don't think really realize is, I've been to like indie shows back years ago and where like I saw MJF doing like Fosbury flops to the outside and stuff. Like, he can do like. He can do any move you can think of, but
he's talented, but he doesn't show it.
But he shouldn't with his character. Like, as a hated heel, he shouldn't be going out there and doing, super impressive, luchador style dives to the outside and stuff because, people are going to, obviously there's not really people there at the crowd, but at home, people are going to like seeing that. It's a reason to cheer for the guy. His match with Jungle Boy I thought was really good because he uses athleticism basically to try to like counteract what Jungle Boy was doing. Jungle Boy would do a kip up, he'd do a kip up also. He's just trying to, they're trying to keep up with each other and stuff like that, which I liked. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see where Jurassic Express goes from here with Jungle Boy getting the loss. Luchasaurus didn't win. Marco wasn't on the show other than for run-ins, and he was a part of the crowd. I really think Marco would benefit from. It might sound strange, but like I'd like to see. I'm not necessarily like to see this, but like I've had the thought of like if Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus kind of did their own thing, they don't have to like turn on Marco or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think Marco needs to be paired with Joey Janela, like on screen. They're like Janela's like his mentor, like for real, and like
yeah.
The guys are good friends, and they're both like I think that suits Marco better than him being.
It does.
Because he fits the Jurassic Express, but he doesn't. Like he fits and he doesn't. Like he isn't. Like Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus is like a pairing that makes total sense, and they kind of have him with them because they're protecting him, but it isn't like he doesn't necessarily really fit the gimmick fully. But
yeah.
But if you had Marco is just kind of like a sidekick to Joey Janela, where there's vignettes of Joey Janela like walking around downtown, with a cigarette and a beer or whatever, and like Marco is right there next to him holding the beer, and they're just like walking down like the alley or whatever. It's
I'd love that dynamic.
Yeah, like you got more. I just think it would be a great way back when AEW started. There was a picture that Joey Janela posted. And it was a bunch of guys on a ring apron, or not on the ring apron, on the entrance ramp. And I can't remember who all was in the picture, but I know it was Janela, Marco, Jungle Boy. I think Luchasaurus might have been in the picture. I can't remember who else, but it was basically like the caption was like "New Raven's Flock," and I was like, this would be so perfect for like I think Janela is best used on screen for AEW as the leader of like a misfit stable. Like,
Oh yeah,
you know,
that
like
actually
him.
makes so much sense.
Yeah, just keep hire on or get him involved with like kind of like these like oddity wrestlers that kind of like the
I love it. The
yeah.
misfits.
Yeah, you got
Yes, I dig it.
Like Luther or whoever's like really not doing anything, like throw him in there. Like this weird hardcore dude that nobody understands, or like I mean, you got these strange character dynamics in AEW that you can do a lot with, and I don't see Janela ever really hitting like the world title level anytime soon. Maybe like the TNT title, something like that, but to have him as the leader of a stable, I think would really benefit him and a lot of other people.
I think so too. I completely agree.
I did see a super chat come through.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jay. Jay Rojas. I hope I'm saying that right. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It says, what do y'all think about a MJF and Wardlow versus Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus match? Not trying to take away from the amazing match MJF and Jungle Boy had. You're not taking away from that match at all. I think that could be a next step. I think that's actually a really cool, fun thing to think about. It makes total sense. I absolutely love it. And I think if they did want to continue this feud, this, MJF Jungle Boy feud, that I think Wardlow and Luchasaurus do need to be added to the mix. And I think that it would be a lot of fun. I think it would be a lot of fun. You have Marco Stunt go off with Joey Janela, have the Misfit crew. And that would, oh my God, I love that so much. I love that idea. I love Joey Janela leading this Misfit crew and having the Janela Zone all the time on Instagram Live. They can make that a show.
Yeah, you could have vignettes of him like training the other guys or something where it's like they're like chug beer with him or something. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Make it like this. There's so much you can do because he personifies like the old school like grungy
Right?
like wrestler who like still goes town to town and like gets with ring rats and like smokes cigarettes and drinks beer with fans and stuff like that. Like he's very not PC friendly, which I think is like that's great. Like he's a
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, and like I said, I think that you take Marco out of the picture, and then you have Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus go and do this feud, and I really like that idea, Jay. I think that that's a really good idea. Thank you so much for that super chat. We really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you, Jay. Good question. Great tie-in. Jungle Boy is on the Janela Zone a lot, he said. Yes. That's such a great idea, Steven. The whole Janela being this leader. I love it. He's such a dynamic person. Like, even when he cut his promo for the ladder match, I love how every single one of them had an individual promo as well before the ladder match, by the way. I know we're talking about. Yeah, I really like that. I thought it was great. But he is so charismatic. Look at Leroy, that man. He's in the crowd now. He's on the Janela Zone. And he's like a part of AEW now, and that's a lot to do with like Janela, because Janela put him on the Janela Zone all the time, and it's hilarious. He can get the best out of people, I swear. He's great.
Yeah, I agree. And thank you very much. That was Jay, right?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Jay, for the super chat. Very good question, and I agree with both of you. I think it would totally make sense. That would be a good match. Up next, we had the inaugural TNT Championship match. Cody with Arn Anderson in his corner defeating Lance Archer with Jake the Snake Roberts in his corner. Yeah, so I'll just get right out of the way. That title belt did not look good, but I've heard that like that was like because of, I think they mentioned on commentary that because of what's going on with the pandemic, they weren't able to finish the title. So that isn't like I'm assuming that's the truth. I guess it's possible that they could have put because the pictures leaked online before the match happened, and like it was very negative feedback from the wrestling community on how the belt looked, and I wonder if they like put that out there and like everyone just shit on it, and they were like, oh no, this isn't the whole thing, like no, this is just, and they're like, guys, we need to like remake this belt. Nobody likes it. But either way, I thought the match was pretty good. They told a pretty good story. I'm glad to see Cody win.
I was like, oh, I bet Steven's so happy.
Yeah. I mean, I was really happy for him, even though I chose Lance Archer in my predictions. But just like so many of these other picks, who I wanted to win won, not who I thought was going to win. Um, so yeah, I'm happy to see him get that belt. And I think it makes a lot of sense, especially if they use that belt to like promote the company with. I mean, obviously, if it's called the TNT title, like there's a level of promotion already kind of built in there. But like, Cody kind of being one of the faces of AEW, especially being an executive VP and everything, like for him to have that belt when he's doing PR or like interviews or radio or whatever he's doing, to have that belt with him is like it's a big cross promotion and showing like they're you're interviewing Cody Rhodes who wrestles for All Elite Wrestling, and without even having to say anything about where to watch it, you just look at his shoulder and it's got TNT on the belt, and you're like, oh, it's on TNT, I can watch that show. So
Yeah.
I think it all makes sense. Cody is the right person to be the first champion, especially because he can't win the world title at the moment, at least due to the stipulations. So yeah, I'm all for it. Good match. I think the right person won. What do you think?
Sorry, I'm trying to like pull down my mic so it's not like. I thought that I was happy with Cody winning. Forgive me if I'm wrong, because I was kind of like looking at my phone, looking up. I believe that Arn Anderson hit Lance Archer and then Cody won. Correct? There was like some interference, or was it Jake Snake hit Cody?
Well, they both got
right.
ejected, and then Jake
That's right.
with the snake.
That's right. So that was very interesting, because when Jake the Snake left, when he got kicked out, and by the way, Mike Tyson was freaking hilarious the whole time. He was like absolutely blitzed. Him reacting to Lance Archer wrecking people was the funniest thing ever. And then when he's like, you gotta go, like telling, like snitching, that was really funny.
Yeah.
But it was a very interesting dynamic how when Jake the Snake left, how Lance Archer was like a dog that just watched its owner walk out the door. Like completely like helpless, like scared, like a little kid that gets lost in a store. Like it was very interesting, and then he comes out with a snake, and then obviously shit happened. So while a lot of people can say that maybe it was too soon for Lance Archer to lose, and I can agree with that to some extent, I feel like they're setting up a very interesting dynamic between him and Jake the Snake, and I feel like they're still developing his character a lot. So this loss isn't meaningless, and this loss isn't demeaning in any way. I felt like had it just been Lance and Cody, Lance would have won. But I absolutely loved the match. I absolutely loved it. It was very interesting when the ref called off the hold when Cody was choking Lance Archer with his hair, because it was his hair, and there's no hair pulling allowed. I thought that was very interesting. It was a very kind of cool thing. It was kind of like one of those, there are rules, As far as the belt is concerned, yeah, I didn't realize. Okay, call me stupid. Okay, I'm really dumb. I forgot that the TNT logo changed. I thought it was still the one from the 90s that looked really cool and was had the pointed edges and stuff.
The yellow letters or red
the yellow and red. So when they come out with this block text title, I thought it was a joke. Because it was from far away, and I was like, bruh, they really put a label maker onto this title belt. Are you for real? And I was like, oh, that is the TNT logo. And you can tell when you look at it, it looks really plain. And like they said, the belt isn't finished. And I was like, oh my God, they're going to get so much shit for this. They're going to get a lot of shit. However, when they explained on commentary that the belt wasn't finished yet because of the virus and the pandemic and everything, it does make sense. There are shortages of a lot of things right now. CO2 being one of them. So like soda machines and stuff, they're having issue like filling soda machines, so you're gonna see a lot more like bottles. I know at Disney and stuff, they're out of CO2, so you're gonna be seeing a lot more bottled drinks. I'm thinking gold plating. I'm assuming that could come from Europe or somewhere. Like that's international. I don't know if there's like a mass supply of gold plating like in the United States. I mean, stuff you don't really think about. So I can see why that would be delayed. Like I know, like for me, I like makeup palettes a lot, and I know a lot of the formulas and the ingredients come from Italy. So there's like a back order and there's a shortage of those ingredients because they can't get them from Italy. So there's just very different strange things that you wouldn't think about as far as shortages. However, I thought the belt was like okay. But you're right. If Cody's going to be holding this belt, it needs to look like really good. And I think it does make so I hope they fix it and make it cool and blingy and nice. I hope they add more to it, like on the top, because it's like super plain on the top. There's like no, and I think someone said they added stuff already. Like they added a whole bunch of like jewels and stuff. I'm not sure.
I noticed the side plates were the Turner Mansion in Atlanta.
Oh, were they?
Mm-hmm. That's what
Whoa.
those side plates are. Because I've drove past that a bunch of times, like just know where it is. But
Whoa.
yeah, pretty cool. I thought that the use of Mike Tyson was pretty good too, like because he's he's the one who stopped Jake the Snake from coming in with the snake at the end. So like I think that them using him for that was smart, but it was also funny because it was like everyone's expectation when you see Mike Tyson is he's gonna punch somebody. Like just we got to see a Mike Tyson punch. And I think because he's actually training for a fight at the moment. So
That's right. He's coming back.
So I feel like they didn't want to like risk anything with him like actually getting physically involved at all during the show. So instead of getting a punch, he popped his shirt off. Like that was like his move for the night.
I know. When he took that shirt off, I was like, "Oh shit!" Like I popped for that.
Yeah, he had to go skins on TV real quick. Just pop. Alright, cool. Like he's not gonna throw a punch, but then he goes shirtless. So I guess that's what we're getting from Mike Tyson tonight. He looked stoned out of his mind, just confused, just didn't really know what was going on. But it was funny how we even mentioned it. All of us who were watching the show last night together, like the referee didn't know what to do, so he deferred to Mike Tyson when
Right?
like we were like, wait, a stoned, confused Mike Tyson overrode the ref just what just happened?
I know. It's like, well, I mean, you brought him in.
Yeah,
You might as well make the rules.
he's got the enforcer experience from his time in WWF.
Oh my God, that's really funny.
Yep.
No. Someone, because I was looking for a picture of the TNT Championship belt, and it looks like a can of Tecate, that beer.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that's funny.
That's funny.
But yeah, I thought that the whole dynamic there was great. Mike Tyson was just hilarious. And of course, I'm like, wow, because he's like laughing and having fun. And as I'm tweeting that, apparently he starts, as I am tweeting, Mike Tyson loves professional wrestling. You can tell by his reactions. They cut to him yawning. And
Yeah.
And I put that tweet out, and I looked like the biggest dumbass in the world. So, yeah. But I thought it was great. Like I said, I don't think Lance Archer looked bad in the loss. Too bad. Interesting choice. I was really shocked. But I'm not mad.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Before we start talking about the women's match here, good time to remind everybody if you're enjoying the stream, please give us a thumbs up, like the video. The reason that we always talk about that is because it helps the algorithm on YouTube, and it helps people find the show, and also kind of recommend the show to other wrestling fans and stuff like that. So it's very much appreciated. It takes like no time on your end, and it's totally free. I mean, if you don't like the video, you can give us a dislike as well. That hurts the algorithm and hurts the show a little bit, but we do appreciate getting feedback on the show. And likes especially help out. So just keep that in mind. And the next match we had was Chris Statlander defeating Penelope Ford, who had Kip Sabian in her corner. Statlander was supposed to wrestle Britt Baker, who was injured on Dynamite. Looks like she may have a injured knee, possibly a torn ACL, which that's
Oh, before we get into that, Ahmed, thank you so much for the super chat. Yay!
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Ahmed.
It's for you, so why don't you go ahead and answer it?
Ahmed asks, "Hey Steven, was I the only one with the desire to kill Mike Tyson for yawning?" I think it's funny that it happened because I mentioned at the top of the show, but people may be kind of trickling in and out. Like, I watched the show with 3 other people, so there was 4 of us watching the show at my place last night, and we all called them out for yawning when we saw that on the screen. We were all like, "Oh, really? Like, could they have shown him at a worse time?" I don't know about a desire to kill Mike Tyson. I do still like Mike Tyson. And also, I saw him getting some hate online. People saying like, "Oh, AEW's working with a convicted rapist," and blah blah blah. And it's like, I get it. I know he has his history is not squeaky clean. And not that this makes it better, but there's a lot of professional fighters over time that have had very similar things happen with their careers. And all I can say about Mike Tyson, I'm still a fan of his, especially like as a boxer and a fighter and stuff. And he served his time. And we don't know fully what even happened in that scenario. Regardless, he did what he did. He served his time. There hasn't been any instances, and this was back in like the 90s, and there hasn't been anything since then that was even like a hint of anything close to what he got convicted of and stuff. So like, I have to believe people change. We got to give people second chances. If they serve their time, if they stop doing whatever they were doing that got them in trouble, that's really all you can ask from somebody. If he does it again, my opinion changes, and I hope he gets punished again. That's you know what I mean. So I had no problem with AEW doing business with Mike Tyson at all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't think anyone like portrays him as like a good person anyway. Like.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
He's Mike Tyson. We're not. I mean, he bit a guy's ear off for God's sake.
Yeah.
Like, he's not holy. You
can see a very clear change in his personal character throughout the years too.
Yeah.
Like, it's like 2 completely different people. Like when you saw him in the 90s, like that vicious killer, that dude who, I mean, completely different person than the guy you see now who's like just stoned and giggling on television and just like.
He was so high.
Yeah, right. Like he wants to fight again, but it isn't because he's like wanting to like murder people like he used to. I think it's just more of like a proving he can still do it, and like he's still in good shape, and just he wants to see how he does and try to make a comeback at 53 or however old he is. It isn't like he's out there talking about eating people's babies like he used to
Ooh, yeah, I know.
In the 90s. So it's Woo. And I have to, I mean, and that's the thing, like, I'm 32 years old. I'm a completely different human.
Oh my God.
I was in my teenage years. Like, time passes, people change. My perspective on stuff has completely changed. Like, you just, so I figured I'd just put that out there because I did see some people giving AEW some grief for working with Tyson, and I just can't be mad about it, given what I've just said about all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that all being said, we had that match with Statlander and Penelope Ford. I think it's on you first on this one. I want to know how you thought about the match. Like, what do you think about Statlander winning? And of course, Penelope Ford was replacing Britt Baker, like I was mentioning before. So, what are your thoughts on all that?
I think Britt Baker's gonna be out 6 to 8 weeks. I know someone in that chat said that. I have been seeing that thrown around. So I'm just gonna go with that. I'm trying to move my leg and now unplug my light. Okay. I think that given the really quick turnaround, like, oh, guess what, Penelope Ford, you have to be in a match because Britt Baker can't. They didn't have a lot of time to kind of plan this out. I don't know if Chris Statlander was supposed to win. I'm assuming she was supposed to take an L. Because I would assume Britt Baker was supposed to win. I really think that they should have just not done the match. However, it's okay if Penelope Ford was in there. I mean, you can tell that, Penelope Ford will get better and better and better. I think that with time, she's going to get better and better. That's what I just said. There were a couple messy spots, but I mean, it was a short match. It wasn't too bad. I mean, like I said, I could have done without it. It was there. I don't really want to say anything bad about it. I mean, it was a little sloppy, but given the circumstances, it happens. But I like both of them. And yeah, it was just there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Penelope Ford, physically looks great. I think she's like incredibly attractive. But like
yeah, she's so pretty.
in the ring, she's still missing a little bit there. But given the circumstances, I mean, this is basically a last minute replacement match. She wasn't going to be wrestling on the show, and I do think that Britt Baker was going to defeat Statlander if they wrestled as well. It really seemed like they were building Baker towards a title match, especially now that Shida is the women's champion, which we'll talk about in a bit. But I think Ford will continue to get better. She's clearly athletic and she learns quickly. It's clear that she's a quick learner. So, she'll get better. I do honestly believe, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I think Kris Statlander is the most valuable woman that AEW currently has as far as potential value is concerned in the company. Like, she checks every box for a female wrestler. She has the size, the athleticism. The thing with her is she's still learning. Like she was a fan of hers on the indies, especially her work with Beyond Wrestling. And I did a lot of intergender matches with Beyond. And she did really well in them. That's actually how I got respect for Statlander so quickly was, I'm not a fan of intergender wrestling. I really don't like it. But it can be done the right way, and Statlander does it in the right way. I think that, there aren't a whole lot of female wrestlers that I like seeing wrestle men, but Statlander's actually really good at it. And I think that her match with Nyla Rose for the title, neither of them brought it that night. I thought it was a bad...
I think she was sick, right? Kris Statlander had the flu or something.
I can't remember. If she did, that would make a lot of sense because she didn't look like herself in that match. And Nyla looked terrible in that match. So that match itself, I wish they could have a do-over for that one. And I'm sure that they will at some point. Clearly, they're still building Statlander. I kind of wish she dropped the alien thing.
A lot of people are saying that.
It's too... I mean, I can't say it's too goofy because, there's so much goofy stuff in wrestling, especially in AEW, that, is her being part alien really more goofy than the idea of a sloth man putting his hands in his pockets when he wrestles? It's goofy, but it's too goofy for me. I don't need to see...
Too goofy for me.
Yeah, I don't need to see you booping people on the nose and doing all these cartwheels.
Tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, tone it down a little bit, I guess. But athletically speaking, she is incredibly impressive, and she's only going to get better. So I see Kris Statlander being the main... I mean, I think that AEW over time will probably acquire some of the other top female talent. If they could get a Jordan Grace or a Tessa Blanchard or something like that, that's going to put them on another level with their division. But as far as
speaking of the women's division, we had an Ahmed super chat. Thank you, and he said the same thing. He gave us another donation. It didn't come across on the screen, I don't think, but what he said was, women's division is all right. It only needs chemistry, and I think that is kind of what we're portraying here. They need something, like you said, maybe another element, another, not alpha element, but another bold personality element to kind of get these people together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. Thank you very much for another super chat. Very much appreciated. Yeah, I mean, that's all it's going to take, and that will happen. There are going to be big, I mean, not just from Impact, or as I was mentioning, women from Impact. There's going to be instances where WWE is going to lose women also. They're going to test the free agent market just like a lot of the men are. And some of them are going to have really high market value. I mean, especially if like a Sasha Banks or, you know, something like that, AEW will scoop them up immediately. And, you know, so the women's division is continuing to get better. And we'll talk about the women's title match after this next one, which the next one is really not much to talk about.
No.
But I guess, yeah, so moving on, we had Dustin Rhodes defeating Shawn Spears. I mean, is it on me? I think it's on me to talk about this one first. There's really not much to talk about. I was confused, by the way, of like, why did they do this? Like, why did they... Well, no, like, what I mean is like instead of just having them out, I mean, maybe they were short on time and they knew it going into it, or like, I don't...
Why did they do this?
Well, really, like, why did they...
Yeah.
Like, why did they put a scenario out there where, like, Shawn Spears... Like, I think there was a story behind it, but, like, why did they do any of it? Like,
He deleted his Twitter.
who, Shawn Spears?
Yeah.
Dude, I know that he blocks people, too, like, left and right on Twitter because, like, people don't think... Like, the same people that don't think he was very good in WWE don't think he's very good in AEW either, because he's very similar in both, you know, like... So, I mean, I like Shawn Spears, personally.
I do too.
But I think that he's tired of hearing people basically call him a jobber, like, no matter where he works. Which is kind of true, to be, like, just completely honest. That's what's happening. You are a lower mid-card talent in every company you've really been in, and that's how the fans see you. And if you don't like that, that's, you know, blame the company. But I don't understand why we needed any of this. Like, why was there a scenario where there's a scheduled, advertised match between Rhodes and Spears, and it winds up being Spears in the ring, not in ring gear, like, and Rhodes isn't going to show up for this match. Like, there's no way he's showing up. Just count him out. And
Like, right?
wait, did anybody at home watching that think that Dustin Rhodes wasn't showing up? Did one person watching think that Dustin Rhodes wasn't going to be there last night?
I mean, I don't know, man.
Then the match lasted 3 minutes, and Dustin won. It was another one of those where I said on the predictions, I hope Dustin wins, but I think Spears will win, and I was pleasantly wrong, so no problem. What did you think about this?
I thought it sucked. It sucked. I thought it was kind of cute at first, because I think Shawn Spears, I think he's got a very dynamic persona. I think that he's a great personality. I loved the Shawn Spears news segment. I thought that was really cute. It was short. It was sweet. It was to the point. This was also short, thank God. I could have done without like the underwear and the butt slap. And I get that that's kind of like Dustin Rhodes' kind of thing when he was like Gold Dust or whatever, you know. But this was embarrassing.
You know what I was saying before? You know what I was saying before we got live about how there was something I didn't want to talk about?
Yeah.
That was this match big time.
I can see that.
Yeah.
That was, yeah. It was lame. And I see Jay saying, here's my take on Shawn. At least he's getting booked consistently. Unlike his SmackDown Live run, I don't think he's getting punished. I actually think it was his idea. Yeah, I don't think he's being punished. Like, I don't think that there's like that. I feel like there's something they're planning. And I was going to say, I'm going to give this a chance to explain itself. Like, I want to know why, and I hope we get why. I hope we get answers. I don't know if this is going to be like a revamp of Shawn Spears again. Because, you know, the whole chairman thing is kind of dead in the water. Ironically, my background kind of goes with that. But it was unnecessary.
Yeah.
And I like Shawn Spears, and I'm rooting for him. And, you know, obviously Dustin's a legend, so it made me sad.
Well, I mean, and to be honest, I think Spears is exactly where he should be at the moment, as far as in the company. Like, he's good enough to be employed. Like, I don't think he should get fired or anything like that. He beats the really, really lower tier people and doesn't beat anyone really like ranked above him. He just kind of is where he is. But it makes sense though. Like, does anybody really want a reality of like? I mean, I'm just gonna be like brutally honest. Like, would you rather see Shawn Spears in the top positions, or would you rather see Moxley and Brodie Lee and the Elite, and you know what I mean? There's just better talent than Shawn Spears available in AEW at the moment, and there's nothing about Shawn Spears that's like I want to see him as the AEW World Champion. I want to see him as the TNT Champion. He's doing what he's exactly. It's just unfortunate for him. He's basically in the same position he was in with the WWE, except they're actually using him on AEW. He just isn't being pushed as the top star here.
Yeah.
And it's salvageable. Like, all it would take going on like a good win streak. I mean, like, it's not like the guy's untalented. It's just there's nothing about him that would make me want to see him as a top guy more than the people I just mentioned.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So, moving on, we had the women's title match. New champion Shida defeats Nyla Rose in an ODQ match.
This was great.
Before we get into that, we got another.
Oh.
Thank you, DeAndre Fine.
Yay!
Jesse, if you want to take that one first, I'll back you.
Okay, DeAndre, thank you so much. We really, 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 really appreciate it. Thank you. Who are your favorite guys in AEW? Kenny Omega. That's my fave. That's my fave of all the companies. Love me some Joey Janela. Love me some Mox. Those are my faves.
I like pretty much the whole roster, to be honest. I would say, as far as the ones that come to mind, Cody, always going to be at the top for me. Cody, Darby Allin, Cody.
R.I.P.
Well, it's because I'm saying Darby right after.
Yeah.
So,
Darby Allin's another favorite.
Cody, Darby Allin, and Orange Cassidy are probably my favorite three at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I love all of them. I'm a big fan of the whole Elite, and I like Brodie Lee. I like Mox. I mean, even their like lower card, like we were talking about, like Joe Janela. I really like Marco Stunt a lot. I know he's a polarizing figure, but
there's no one I don't like.
Yeah. Marco's way up there for me, by the way.
Yeah.
He could never win a match in AEW, but if he does exactly what he's been doing, he 1,000,000% deserves a spot on the show.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. But thank you very much, DeAndre, for the super chat. We very much appreciate that.
Thank you.
So we had Shida defeat Nyla Rose. You're up first on the review for this one. What do you think about the match, and what do you think about Shida becoming the new champion? Because Nyla Rose didn't have a very long title reign.
No, she didn't. However, I think that what's her name? Daisy. She was like Hikaru. So I've been saying Hikaru. I don't know if there's like a vowel thing. So, how to say it? Hikaru Shida. That's how I'm gonna say it. I don't know if that's right, but that's how she said it. And if I've been saying it wrong, I apologize. So Hikaru, I think that she's a great champion because I feel like while Nyla Rose is amazing and she's been improving, it's like she's such a tough and unbeatable kind of like force, you know? It's like with the women's roster still being developed and still trying to like improve, because the majority of the women's roster is very green. I feel like Nyla Rose would be a better champion in the future, just so that we can build and establish the other women in the division beforehand. So I think that Hikaru Shida, I think that she's probably a better choice to be champion right now. She's fantastic. She's a phenomenal worker. She brought it. She gave Nyla Rose her best, and she defeated her. I think this match was fun. It was tough. It was different. I think that Nyla Rose does better in these matches that are a little bit unconventional, like the no DQs or the tables matches or, you know, whatever. I think that she's so tough. I think it displays her toughness a lot better. But I think Hikaru, she's incredible. She's champion worthy, but also believably beatable, which is not a knock on her, but it makes the women's division a little bit more dynamic, and it makes me think that that title could change hands at any time. Whereas with Nyla, I was like, oh, there's no way XYZ is going to beat her. I thought this match was great. There was one spot that freaked me out. Hikaru almost threw Nyla Rose like onto her own knee, and it freaked me out. And I was like, can we not go for the knees, please? Like, can we stop? Because that's what injured Britt Baker. I loved Nyla's like banter. I loved how she told Billy Gunn to get out of the way, and like Billy Gunn like got out of the way. I love how when she threw Hikaru into the blackjack table or the roulette table, she goes, always bet on black or something like that. And I loved her like little like sayings and stuff. I thought it was great. I thought it was an incredible match. I thought it was fun, and I think the right person won.
Yeah, I completely agree with all that. I had Shida in my predictions to win the title. I'm glad that she did. Still not a huge Nyla Rose fan, but there was nothing to really dislike about the match last night. I said it in the predictions live chat as well, that this was another big opportunity for Nyla to prove to me why she's been chosen to be in the spot that she's in, because I think outside of that match with Riho that she had a little while back, she really hadn't had any good matches her whole AEW career. And I felt like there's no way that you could have a bad match with Shida, and if she had a bad match with Shida, there was a real problem with Nyla Rose. But the match was good. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good match. The no DQ stipulation worked. I really had no problem with it. I think the right person won. Also have to mention before I forget, Ahmed, I saw you in the chat, said that we both forgot the GOAT in our list of favorite wrestlers in AEW, and yeah, you're right. I
Jericho is
somehow didn't
legend.
say Jericho. He's my favorite wrestler of all time. Somehow didn't him. But yeah, we'll be talking about him in the main event. But yeah, Shida with the title, I'm all for it, and I think that her and Statlander could have a really good program potentially. So
there's so many options.
Yeah, I think that they were heading towards Shida versus Britt Baker. That's what I felt like they were doing.
Clearly.
But if Baker's going to be out, you can, because AEW's proven that they're not against doing babyface versus babyface matches. We see it in the tag team division all the time, and I'd be fine with that. Shida and Statlander, especially with no crowd, really. Like, it's not like it doesn't even have the same dynamic really. Like and they can kind of manufacture how the audience sounds, because they can, basically tell certain people to cheer, certain people to boo during the matches, because it's their own people in the audience, and they can make it whatever they want to make it. So I'm good with all that. I like Shida as the champion. A match that I was incorrect about, very incorrect about.
Well, both of us.
Yeah, Jon Moxley retained the AEW World Championship over Mr. Brodie Lee. Got the win essentially with a rear naked. Well, it was like a bulldog choke that he kind of turned into a rear naked choke. Match was 15 and a half minutes long, and is this on me to talk?
Yeah, that's on you.
So I'll get this off, right off the bat. Like I said it even before the match, even though I chose Brodie Lee to win because I thought it made the most sense storyline wise, I do like that Moxley kept the title, because I think he's a great champion for the company, and I want to see him have a long title reign before he drops the title, because I think it'll mean a lot when he loses the title eventually to somebody. It'll really help put somebody else over. But that being said, the Dark Order thing is like, I don't know where you go from here, and this is what I was worried about, because not only the storyline I think they're going to play up is that Brodie Lee never tapped out. He got submitted. He went out cold to a submission. And what's even more interesting is on Twitter, you can see here, he tweeted out, "Respect to Jon Moxley. That's all I have to say at this time." So So I have to imagine they're going to run that back at some point, but what's interesting is like Dark Order didn't get involved during the match at all. Like none of the Creepers came out. 10 didn't come out. I think that Uno and Grayson are stuck in Canada, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Uno was live tweeting the entire time.
So maybe they can go with the story that like Dark Order didn't have like their full team available.
They could.
But I don't know. I don't think it was a good look for Brodie to lose because I don't know why the Dark Order would follow Brodie now. Like he just proved he can't win the. Oh, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know where they really go from the Dark Order from here, unless they go with the storyline I just said, where they basically claim that they weren't at full force because of travel issues or whatever, basically. So
yeah,
I don't know. But I thought the match itself was good. I liked the finish. I just think the wrong person won storyline wise, but I do like Moxley as the champion, so it was kind of a win-win or a lose-lose depending on how you're looking at it, So
yeah,
I'm out with it. What do you think about the match, and what do you think about Moxley retaining and kind of the state of Dark Order?
Well, before we get to that, I just want to say thank you so much, Ahmed. And Ahmed had another super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. He said he misses Lucha Bros and Pac, my favorite real heels. Yes, loved that vignette that they had on AEW Dynamite for Pac or Pac or whatever the hell they're calling him. It's Pac or Pac. I just say Pac. I thought it was great. Hopefully they'll be back soon, like Evil Uno and the Dark Order. I do like that. So thank you so much again, Ahmed. We really, 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 really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You've been fantastic. We so appreciate it.
Thank
but
you,
I do
Ahmed.
think, yes, I do think that, like what you said, I think that the whole the Dark Order is not complete because there's people missing is kind of interesting. That paradigm shift through the stage was freaking awesome. And Brodie Lee comes out all bloodied. Like I said, I don't really think that Brodie Lee like looked bad in his loss, at all. I thought he looked very tough. I thought, like you said, it does kind of put a hamper on the whole Dark Order thing. Let me go to Evil Uno's Twitter because usually he will tweet, "It's whatever day it is, Brodie Lee." You know what that means, and I'd like to see if he's done that today.
Why-
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it is. Yes, he has.
Um,
I love it. He did.
Yeah, I agree, Jay. Mox had a sick flurry at the end with the blood, the knee strikes, the deep
Yes.
choke. Yeah, I
Oh my God.
agree. If you're gonna beat Brodie Lee with like this, how this has been built up, that was the way to do it. So I'm with you 1,000% on that.
Oh, thank you, Ahmed. Ahmed with it again. Ahmed is just on point today. Thank you, Ahmed.
What currency is that, by the way?
That's British pounds.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Yes. It says, I was okay with any of them winning. It was a great match, but it wasn't built right because there were no fans. But it was exciting enough for me. Respect. Yeah, I know. This whole pay-per-view was like, man, this would have been lit in front of fans. However, they did start chanting, all of the wrestlers say, "This is awesome. This is awesome." Like they were kind of trying to do that. Yeah, I mean, like I agree, Ahmed. I was okay with either one of them winning. It was just as far as like the Dark Order storyline, it's very it seems off. You know what I mean? It seems like, okay, well, Dark Order's supposed to be tough. Why are they behind this leader who can't win his match? So it's very interesting. It makes you think. I'm gonna wait till like Dynamite to see what happens.
I'll be back in just a second. I think someone's knocking on my door.
Okay.
I'll be
Yeah,
back.
no worries. But like I said, I think the Dark Order kind of thing. It's like, where do they go? What's gonna happen? What's Evil Uno gonna do? What's 10 gonna do? Because Brodie Lee didn't come out and get 10 when Jon Moxley broke his arm in the ring. So I think it's very interesting that he didn't come out either. However, this match was so great. I still cannot get over like the ruggedness and toughness of this match. I feel like Jon Moxley brings that every time. And it's so upsetting to me that we did not get to see this Brodie Lee in WWE. A lot of people were kind of questioning, oh, Luke Harper, what's he doing? And I think that this really showed and like really displayed and showcased how good of a wrestler Brodie Lee is and how underutilized he was in WWE.
Yeah, yeah, completely agree. This is these are the kind of moments that like I think Brodie Lee was looking for when he
Hmm.
left WWE. This is like the reason he wanted out is to show that he can do things like this and be put in a top position,
Hmm.
have good matches. I mean, if there's probably a lot of people watching the show that had only seen Brodie Lee's work in WWE up to this point, and they were probably pretty surprised with what they saw last night. Like to
Hmm.
him have a long singles match that told like a legitimate story. Yeah, yeah, and I hope Brodie rebounds from the loss, and luckily this is happening in AEW where I have a lot of faith in their
Yeah.
telling and their booking. So while I might not agree with Lee losing this match, the way that it happened did make a lot of sense with the way that Moxley did it. And yeah, like I said, I just have to have faith that AEW is gonna know what to do going forward with Brodie and the Dark Order. So
Yeah, I have faith.
yeah. Up next, we have the main event of the
Oh my god, this match, you guys.
which yeah, it was kind of surprising to me that this match went on last, like after the world title
It had
and
to.
everything.
It had to.
But given the fact that it went, 34 minutes long and all the stuff involved, like I don't hate that it was the main event. It just I'd like the world title to be positioned as the main event, like all.
It was the co-main event.
It's just kind of the old school in me. Before we talk about it,
Whoa!
super chat, DeAndre, thank you so much.
Thank you, DeAndre. Oh my gosh, thank you. Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
Jess, if you want to take that one.
Oh, what do you think about Mox versus Kenny versus Cody for the title, even though we might never see it? Oh man, I love that. I love that idea. That would be so lit. I would absolutely love that. But like we said, like Cody's supposed to not ever get a championship run. I thought we talked about it on the stream last time. If Brodie Lee had won, maybe he could say, "Oh, the Dark Order's gonna, we have our ways. We're gonna overlook that clause and give you the championship opportunity." But that didn't happen, obviously. But that is a fantasy booking match that I would love to see sometimes, like in the future. Not soon, but I would absolutely love that, DeAndre. Thank you so much.
Yes, DeAndre, very, very much appreciated with that super chat. And I agree. That'd be a great match. There's no way that wouldn't be a great match. Three of the best performers in the world. That'd be an amazing triple threat. I'd be fine seeing that title, non-title, no matter what company it happened, what show. That's a main event match anywhere, anytime. So, I was also thinking because I've talked about this before in the past, like my idea of having them do something similar with like the Intercontinental or U.S. Championship, but I think it'd be a cool concept because they do it in Impact where like they have I can't remember like what part of the year, but I remember like they'll do the TNA they have the TNA they have the X Division title and you
Oh, speaking of, did you hear JR call it the TNA title and then he said he's gonna get fired?
oh no I missed that, that's fun.
And he's like, I gotta go pull my head out of my ass.
Nice. JR on
Okay.
commentary just is not good in 2020, unfortunately.
Yeah. Anyways, continue.
Love the guy to death. I'm not a fan at this point. But now what was I saying? I forgot. Lost my train of thought.
Cody, Kenny,
And Kenny and
Mox.
Mox. Oh yeah, so with the X Division Championship, you can cash it in for a world title match.
Yeah.
And that'd be kind of a cool dynamic for the TNT title and a way to get Cody a title match as if like at some point we find out that like there's a stipulation where like if you're holding the TNT belt, on this day, then you have the opportunity to cash it in for a world title match. Like maybe something like that. They need to figure out some sort of loophole to get Cody a world title match at some point. But for the time being, I'm totally fine with him carrying the TNT title. But yeah, thanks again, DeAndre. We really appreciate that super chat.
Yes.
As far as the main event went, what did you think about? Well, I know you were a fan, but go ahead and give me your thoughts on the match itself and your thoughts on the Elite winning over the Inner Circle.
I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to start with this. Oh my God. I thought this may have been the greatest thing ever. I told my husband, this is a really hot take, so don't get mad. I think this Stadium Stampede match pulled down his pants and took a big fat dump all over the Boneyard match. Like, this was a religious experience for me. Like, this was so great. And I do want to say, Tom Lawler last night on the Brian and Vinny after show review of this, he gave a really good point. He said his criticism of it was there was a lot of things in this. It went a little too long. He's like, I don't think they're probably ever going to do this again because they pulled out so many like different things. He's like, when Adam Page pulled out the yard line thing and ran it over, who was it, Jericho?
Yeah.
He's like, all these like little things they're doing tells me they're never going to do this again. Like, there's no way they like pulled out all the stops. And while I think that that's fair criticism, to me, that made it fucking fantastic. Tony Khan did say in the media scrum afterwards, or the virtual scrum or whatever, that basically every single person in this match gave their input on it. And you can absolutely tell. You can absolutely tell that each one of these guys came up with their own fun spots, and they all did it together, and I thought it was fucking great. This is how you give people creative control without giving them total control and losing your value and losing your mission as a company. I thought it was great. You could tell that these were things that they wanted to do. You could tell that because they've invested in their characters, that all of these things were fun and made sense. I mean, made sense in the most silliest way, of course. But it was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. It was so funny. I was high as a kite. I was laughing. I was crying. It just kept getting better. There are so many things like to talk about. Like, I'm shook. Ahmed, thank you so much. Thank God Matt came to AEW. This is what was missing, really. It's one of the best matches in AEW history. I mean, just wow. Chris and Matt are the best. Thank you so much, Ahmed. Yes, I completely agree. This is the Matt Hardy that we wanted to see in AEW, in WWE, utilized fully in AEW. Everything about this was fucking great. There was not one thing in this that I hated. What about you? And it's okay if you hated it or you didn't like anything.
No, I liked it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Thank you very much for the super chat. I agree. This is why you bring Matt Hardy in. This was a good utilization of Chris Jericho. I saw Jericho tweeting about how it was like one of his favorite things he's done in his 30-year career was that match.
Really?
Yeah. So the performers seemed to be happy with it. I was happy with it. It was what I expected. I expected it was going to be some sort of cinematic type thing that, it made sense. And I think that they did it better than the WWE did it. I'm with you. I think they did it really well. And the whole thing made sense. The finish was good. That drop, they didn't even do it. That Justice, those camera angles. Like that.
Oh my God.
That Kenny, that one-winged angel that he hit on Sammy at the end, that was a big drop. Obviously, they was very protected what they fell on, but that's still a big risky spot there.
For Sammy, that is scary as hell because he's not seeing when he's landing. Can we talk about like how much of an MVP Sammy Guevara is? Like, he's going to be world champion. There is zero doubt in my mind that this man is going to be world champion sometime soon. This man puts his body on the line every week, and I just had to take a moment to praise him because he's freaking great. He's getting jacked too.
Well, yeah, I think what he's doing right now, I know this isn't like, this is kind of like a way of looking at it, but this isn't like, I don't think this is really what's happening. I kind of see it like this as maybe kind of an intangible of what's happening. Where like, I think Sammy is going out there right now and just punching his bump ticket, right? I mean, he's just going out there and just like, all right, I'm gonna go out here, and every time I take a
Bump ticket.
I'm gonna go head first. Anytime he gets an opportunity to go like above and beyond, like to do something that like people are gonna talk about, he's doing it right now. And he's doing that so that years from now he doesn't have to do all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's getting himself really over right now, and I think by the time he becomes like world champion or gets in that mix, he'll still do a lot of this stuff, but he'll get over to a point where like people aren't gonna have to see him go out there and kill himself. Like
Right.
That's
such a good point. That is a great point.
In this match, like obviously, you know, there was that spot where Matt Jackson rather was doing the Northern Light suplex over and over and over, and like it's like he did it throughout the whole.
With his bruised rib too. Talk about ow.
Yeah, two things that were really funny about that. First thing was my buddy who doesn't watch wrestling that was watching the show with us didn't realize that was pre-taped and like actually thought for a second.
Oh my god.
Actually gone the distance with him, which I just thought was hilarious. Like they on that so bad, but like even though obviously it was cut, Sammy still on camera took like 10 or so of those on the just right onto the field. Like
right.
I mean
that hurt. I was like,
oh
ow.
my gosh, of course. So yeah, there was a lot of really good stuff about this match. We could talk about it for forever, but like I liked Matt Hardy, the Lake of Reincarnation type stuff where he kept popping up as a different character. Yeah, you got the Matt facts there on your.
Yes, I died. That was so funny.
DeAndre with another super chat. Thank you very much, sir. Says I would pay millions of dollars to see Chris Jericho and Matt Hardy feud. They're just so good together. I don't know if I'd pay $1 million for it, but I will. I think that's where it's headed. I think it's pretty clear that we're going to get a Matt Hardy and Chris Jericho singles match at either a really big, heavily promoted Dynamite episode or possibly the next pay-per-view or special event type thing that AEW does. I think we are going to get a big singles match between Hardy and Jericho in the near future.
Mm-hmm. I think that's where this is all kind of gonna come to a head. I think that's where it's leading. I don't know how. Like, I do know how. I'm lying. I do know how. I don't know how it's gonna turn out. I'm assuming Matt Hardy will win, but I think it's interesting. There's so many ways they could do it. Like you said, they never did. And while I'm happy the Elite won, it's interesting because I thought the Inner Circle would win, and cause like a fluctuation in the dynamic of the Elite. So the Inner Circle losing, you know what? I'm not mad. I'm not mad because the Inner Circle is so full of themselves that they'll find it. They'll Keemstar their way out of it. They'll blame.
Drama alert.
Let's get right to the news.
Roll it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Can they feud forever? DeAndre, thank you. Oh my gosh. They can feud. You know what? They could feud forever, and it would still be good. I think they could add dynamics into it. Thank you so much, DeAndre. But like, I would love. I want more of the Inner Circle versus the Elite because it's just so fun. It's just so fun. Like,
yeah.
I like bookmarked last night so many of the fun things. Can we talk about the horse?
Yeah, I'll switch to this screen. Yeah.
Can we talk about the horse? That was so funny. It was so funny. It was great. That's what everyone wanted, and it happened. I honestly, I thought I was gonna run over him. Poor Sammy with that horse, but he didn't. And
I liked all those callbacks too, where they kept chasing him and stuff, where he kept running away. It's great.
They didn't overdo it. You know what I mean? Oh, thank you, Ahmed, for agreeing with DeAndre. Thank you. Oh my gosh, this is great. I'm so happy right now. Thank you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Y'all are killing it in the chat.
Yes.
This is
Thank
so
you.
much appreciated.
Can we just talk about how this was like so needed? This whole pay-per-view, we needed like something fun to not be mad about, to laugh at, to enjoy. Like this brought me so much joy. Like this whole thing with like the horse and Sammy, like, and they didn't overdo it. They did another golf cart bit, which when he thought that he was like he had won, Sammy's like, yeah, I'm the last man standing, and all of a sudden you hear something and it's a golf cart. And did you see Bryce? Is Bryce right, the referee that was running like toe to toe with the golf cart? I'm like, damn, check his 42. We got some fast people in AEW. Like, damn, we got Adam Page running 100 yards seemingly in a second flat. We got the referees running toe to toe with a golf cart. Oh my God! By the way, Chris Jericho challenging the finish, challenging the count with the red challenge flag, going into the review booth. Oh my God, so great! And then they threw the flag for what was it, unsportsmanlike conduct or something.
Yeah.
The little football references kind of.
Oh yeah, they had matching jerseys for the Inner Circle, and
can we get those jerseys for sale?
I wouldn't be surprised if they did something like that. Sold.
Bitch, I need one. I would buy the frick out of one of those.
I wonder where they go from here, though, because, like, you know, if they still wind up doing Blood and Guts at some point, which I'm sure they are planning on going back to, like, that was a big reason why I was so sure that the Inner Circle would win this match, because it would, like, lead to Blood and Guts later on, when, like, Cody would be involved with Blood and Guts, which, like, might kind of, like, you know, help out the elite side and stuff like that. Like, so I'm confused about where they go with the Inner Circle. Like, to be honest, I'd be interested in seeing Jericho maybe kick out a couple people from the current Inner Circle and get some new people to try to help him or something, because he's no longer the world champion. Now, like, his group is losing matches. Like, Hager lost his opportunity at the title. Sammy loses fairly consistently. His AEW record's, like, pretty 50-50. But, I mean, Sammy also consistently wrestles, like, top talent. So it's not like the losses he takes don't really hurt him. But it'd be interesting to see Jericho kind of, like, second guess who he's included in his Inner Circle and try to, like, you know, try to maybe get some new members to help him, you know, win this feud against the Elite and, like, potentially try to get the title back. Because I also saw in the chat when I was talking about Matt Hardy versus Chris Jericho, and, you know, you had mentioned Matt Hardy would probably have to win that. I think other people in the chat, I think I saw some of that too. I think the opposite, where, like, I think Jericho needs to, like, he needs to stay established as one of the
True.
You know, he has to be. You can't have Chris Jericho, especially for what they're paying him, which he totally deserves, by the way. Like, he deserves a ton of the pay, but he's still Chris Jericho. Like, and Matt Hardy's Matt Hardy, but Matt Hardy's character, like, can work regardless. Like, he could lose a lot of his matches, but if they still have, like, a creative story, or he does, like, his deletion type stuff in matches and changing characters and stuff, like, he can still be entertaining. And so can Jericho, because he's so good. But I don't know, I just feel like, and I'm also a bit biased because Jericho's my guy, but I really feel like Jericho's still got to be presented as, like, you know, one of, if not, like, the top guy in the company.
Yeah.
They have him, you know. I don't know if he's going to be with the company either, how much longer he's going to want to wrestle, or he's a smart guy. Like, I would not be surprised, because I think he signed, like, a 3-year deal if that 3 years ended and he, you know, tested free agency, because there's going to be, in 3 years, there could be a real, I'm not saying he's going to, like, go back to WWE or whatever, but, like, it's going to be interesting to see where all these guys wind up at. Like, you know, even guys like Kenny and the Young Bucks and stuff, like, obviously we would never imagine that they would leave, but if they become free agents and the WWE is like, hey, you guys are superstars now and you've proven your value, we're willing to give you, you know, Brock Lesnar money to jump ship. Like, it's gonna be interesting.
It will be
the next few years.
Yeah, Ahmed had another super chat. He said, I'm not the only one. Thank you so much, Ahmed, by the way. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm not the only one who has a crush on Ref Aubrey. I love her.
Me
She's
too.
so great. And you can tell that, like, Chris Jericho, like we're talking about, really sees her as, like, the future because she is very heavily involved in his matches. She was actually the one that he chose to um, be the referee for the first ever AEW World Championship match. So I think that she's great. I love the review thing. She's super tough. I think she's a great kind of role model for any female that wants to get into the business as not really a wrestler, but as another kind of person in the ring that's not a ring announcer or anything. I think it's great. And thank you so much again, Ahmed. I appreciate it greatly. But I think you're right. I think Jericho does still need to establish his credibility as a current wrestler because you cannot stay on the top based. I mean, if you're speaking technically based, because wins and losses matter. In AEW, wins and losses matter. You cannot stay on the top and establish yourself as a top guy based on like legendary status. You can't grandfather your way in. And I think that AEW does a really good job of not grandfathering people in. And not just kind of, boop, I'm here. Can I have a championship match now? I mean, Brian Cage, even though he just came in, he technically didn't just walk in and ask for a challenge. He earned it. He earned it by winning that ladder match. Lance Archer didn't just walk in. He won a tournament. He got to the finals of a tournament to get his chance. So technically, they're not letting just people come in who are well known outside and just kind of get their shot. Brodie Lee kind of got his way in through like the Dark Order.
When he was like 5-0 or whatever when he
Yeah.
belt.
So we're not just having people just kind of pop up and be like, hey. So I do completely agree with that.
Yeah. As far as the super chat from Ahmed, thank you once again for that. And yeah, I like Aubrey very much as well. I think that it's especially admirable what she's done and where she's at with the company because, you know, women are already going to be the minority when it comes to professional wrestling in general, but they're like a real minority when it comes to refereeing in professional wrestling. Like there's like very few female referees that are doing it like consistently for a mainstream company. And Aubrey is not only employed, but she 1,000,000% deserves the job and has basically been handpicked by Jericho to like be like she does pretty much all of his matches. So like I'm all for it. I think Aubrey's great. I love the type that she recently got merchandise and people got all butthurt over it. Like she deserves merchandise. She has a fan base. Why wouldn't she want to put some T-shirts out there? I think why wouldn't she? And I also see people in the chat saying like Kenny doesn't have any interest in WWE and he would never jump and stuff. Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think he would either. But WWE has absolutely had interest in. I mean, obviously he worked for the WWE for a very short time years ago, but WWE absolutely has interest in Kenny Omega. Whether Kenny has interest in WWE or not is one thing, but I mean, I think a lot of these guys before AEW became a real thing, a lot and like the money like really started coming in, like they like really signed these contracts and started getting paid, and it was a real thing. I think a lot of them had a really difficult decision to make, especially guys like Kenny Omega and especially Hangman Page. I think he had the most difficult decision to make of any of them because I think he basically had to choose between getting a chance in NXT and probably being pushed as one of the top guys in NXT like right away and get a lot of exposure and really be pushed as like a potential superstar in the WWE system. I think that's basically what would have happened if he wound up there based on how good he is already and his potential and stuff.
Yeah.
And he knew coming into AEW he was going to be working for his friends, but he wasn't going to be EVP like the rest of them. Like he was getting hired on as a talent, so he had to choose basically a talent contract between AEW and WWE, and it was a big risk for him because you don't know if AEW is going to even work out, and if it doesn't, you might have just burned your bridge forever with the WWE, which is the company that you probably wanted to work for your entire life. So like, those guys all had to make really tough choices even to start AEW because they were all offered contracts. I think Cody was offered another really big contract to come back to WWE before AEW became a thing. I think the Young Bucks
Should have done that before they released him.
right, they should have figured that out years prior with him, 100%. So it will be interesting. I think that most of these people are going to have an allegiance to AEW, especially these wrestlers who had been working for a long time, like Joe Janela or Chuck Taylor, and like these guys who have worked the indies for years and years and years, and the WWE never had interest when they were the only show in town, and they're gonna remember that AEW gave them the chance, and then when WWE comes with the money, I think a lot of them are gonna, even if it's for less, I think a lot of them will stay with AEW because they believed in them and gave them that opportunity for a national stage when WWE had the opportunity for years and never wanted anything to do with them. It'll make for interesting times for sure.
Yeah.
But what AEW has currently, I think, is great. And I think what they need to do is just be really smart about their future hires, because they have a great roster. You don't want to overload it too much with because there's a big wave is coming. There's a lot of released WWE talent or former WWE talent, I should say, that's now available. And so these spots are going to be up for grabs. There's going to be a guy like Shawn Spears out there who's been with AEW from the start that is going to have to be looking over his shoulder a little bit because you got 2 contracts coming for the Revival. Or FTR or whatever they're going to be called. You have
The Revolt.
Well, I think they're going with FTR because they were getting sued over the Revolt.
What?
So I think they're just calling themselves FTR. But they have, they're coming. You got EC3 out there potentially coming. You've got Zack Ryder out there.
Tweeting about AEW a lot last night.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's going to get competitive quickly for some of these roster spots, and AEW just needs to be really. Well, for one thing, I think they're going to be really loyal to certain people who chose AEW from the start versus re-signing with the WWE. But there's going to be a lot of tough decisions to be made as far as, they only have the one show a week, Dynamite, and then they have Dark, which is kind of an extension of that.
Yeah.
That many roster spots available. There's talent available. There's got to be careful about not overloading it too much with quote-unquote WWE talent. And continuing to push their homegrown people who've been there from the start that have been performing at a high level. So
Completely agree.
We're in for really interesting times right now.
For sure. Like you said, this is really interesting. They brought it last night, man. They really did. I'm so happy with the way this pay-per-view turned out.
Yeah.
I am just so happy.
Before we wrap the show up and talk about sponsors and all that stuff, I know you wanted to talk about something at the top of the show that we saved for later.
So
you want to go ahead and
obviously, as we know, Hana Kimura, she tragically, her life ended. While I want to be respectful, we don't know what the actual reason was, but before she had passed away, she had tweeted about a lot of cyberbullying going on, and it's heartbreaking. She was 22. I mean, you see 1997 and your heart just sinks. It hurts a lot. And I feel like this should be a huge wake-up call to anyone that thinks they're being smart and fucking clever for sending out edgy tweets. There's a difference between sending out an edgy tweet and just being a fucking asshole. If you see someone, if you're trolling someone just to kind of be silly, and you see them not taking it well, fucking stop. Stop it. You are literally committing a fucking crime. Someone lost their life. One life lost, that's too fucking much. That's way too much. A mother lost her daughter. A fan base lost their idol. A company lost one of their rising stars. People lost one of their friends, their supports. People looked up to her. She had a future, a bright future ahead of her. She lost her life because all of you fucking asshole trolls decided to be fucking clever and go tell her cruel things, and she took it to heart, and she actually did it. That's fucking horrible. You should be ashamed of yourself, you should be prosecuted, and you should be taking accountability for your fucking actions. I hope to God that you learned your lesson. I pray to God that this taught a bunch of people to wake the fuck up. I'm tired of this shit. This is supposed to bring us together. This is not supposed to divide us. There's a difference between a fucking healthy debate and being just a fucking asshole. And I don't have time for fucking assholes. I have a fucking family that loves me. I have friends that love me. I don't have fucking time to deal with fucking assholes on the internet who don't give a shit about me. And look what you've fucking done. Look what you've done. This is inexcusable. This is unnecessary, inexcusable, and I'm done. And what I hate is when people tell me to just ignore it or just to get off Twitter. Just get off Twitter. So you're telling me not to give up, but then you're telling me to give up on Twitter. That makes no sense. When you tell me to ignore it, well, yes, I get it. We don't want to give them attention. To say just ignore it means to completely invalidate my feelings and my emotions for what these hurtful, horrible people are saying. So now instead of us giving these trolls attention and going after them, we need to give the people that are hurting from these words more love and support. I feel like if you are being bullied on the internet, I feel like you should reach out and say, hey, listen, this person said this, and it's really hurting my feelings, and I'm having a hard time dealing with it. I feel like that's perfectly okay. I don't feel like that's giving attention to a troll. I feel like that's asking for support. And I'm fucking done. I'm fucking done with this. I don't want another person to lose their fucking life over this shit. And I'm going to tell you firsthand, I've been this close. I've been this close. Luckily, thank God, I have a support system, and I can open up for help when I need it, and I can take a break. But Hannah, it's her career. She had to see it all the time, and tragically, she lost her life because of this. I mean, it looks like that. I'm not going to say it for sure because I don't know, but it looks like that, and it needs to stop. And I'm not going to stand for it anymore. And I just, my heart and my soul goes out to her family and her mother and her fans and her friends. It goes out to all of them, and I am so deeply sorry for your loss. And I am so sorry that horrible fucking people told her something that was completely false. And she went with it to the extreme, and she lost her life, and we will never get it back, ever. So I hope if you are a troll, hate watching this for some stupid fucking reason, go do something better with your time. Please. Go learn a new language. Go learn a skill. Because you know what? Learning a skill will make you more clever and smarter, and you won't have to resort to being a fucking dick. And that is all I have to say.
Well, that was I think you covered it all. Yeah, I mean it's terrible. I don't know what else to say other than like it's a great example of why I think anonymity on the internet is a bad thing in a lot of cases. Because I think that a lot of people wouldn't say these things if they were not anonymous on the internet. They would actually have to be held accountable. You know, by name, like you would. Who is? Because if I bullied somebody, you know, out on the street or something, and I was identified, you know, like people would know it was me, you know, and that's. And I think people get way too comfortable with the internet. Like they think what they're saying is just. I mean, I have to admit, I'm all for a good troll. Like
yeah,
sometimes, right? But like, I'm not for trolling people and like threatening their lives or trying to force people into taking their own lives and stuff like that. There's no enjoyment I could possibly get out of a scenario where I'm the reason somebody's harmed themselves. Like that's awful. It's terrible. It's one of the worst things you can do. What I do wish is obviously I wish all that ended, all that kind of stuff just ended completely. But like, I also wish people like in her position. I know it's easier said than done depending on who you are. 100%. But like, I wish she could have just blocked those people and just forgotten about it. I know that's so much easier said than done depending on who you are. I get that, but like, that's worked for like a charm for me. Like shit about me sometimes on Twitter, and I just block them. And the way that I look at it is, I don't know these people one way or another. They can sit there all day and talk.
Right.
I've blocked people who then screenshot that I've blocked them and then tweet it.
Brag about it. Like,
And then somebody else will like message it to me and be like, "Hey, so and so is showing that you blocked him and still talking shit." And like I can't even see the message anymore because like I blocked him. But like but guess what? Like they say a bunch of shit and then like they drop it the next day because I'm not reacting to it at all. I'm done. You said something stupid. I don't know you one way or another. You could hate my fucking guts. You could want me dead. But I wouldn't know, because for one, I can't see your tweets. For two, I don't know you. I don't know who you are. I don't know your name. I don't know what you look like. I mean, so it's one of those things where I wish more people could just, like, block out that shit and just, like, go on with their lives, because what other people are saying about you doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't fucking matter at the end of the day. If you like yourself and, like, you're the people close to you, whether it's family or friends or whatever, like, if you have good relationships with those people, that's all that really matters to me, is like that me and my friends get along, me and my family gets along. If I don't know you, I don't really give a fuck what your opinion of me is. But once again, like that's me. I could have a different mindset, and everything people said about me could. Mm-hmm.
Hold on, my audio just changed.
Weird.
Hold on, my audio like just totally went out. There we go. Okay, sorry.
Nice. Yeah, I was just saying, but I'm not all people. Everyone's gonna react to this stuff differently. Like some people that like they would take, like her, like she took what people were saying to heart. She heard it enough times.
She was 22. When I was 22, I was emotional about that stuff too. And thank you, DeAndre, and I think Ahmed. Thank you so much for your super chats. I was kind of like, I had tunnel vision. I was very upset. So we appreciate so much. Can't stand cyberbullying or any type of bullying. It's just not right. Thank you. Jessi, emotional because she knows the feeling. Yeah, I do. Not to the same extent at all. I don't want to make this about me, but I just wanted to say that just to show you guys like why I get so emotional about it. But thank you so much. But it's true. And you know what I think needs to happen? Here's what I think needs to happen. I think that whether it's an HR service or something, these companies with these people that have these social media accounts need to have someone that these people can go to talk about this and get support for this kind of online bullying. Like, I feel like there needs to be a safe space for these wrestlers, professionals in any profession, really. I mean, I'd love to see it happen like for everyone, where you have a place to go, like in HR, if you're getting hate, and say, hey man, this really bothered me, like, and they can weed out if it's a credible threat. They can do something about it. They can have like a direct line with Twitter or any social media platform that they're getting hate on, and say, hey, listen, I know this is probably not going to go through your algorithm to be suspended. I don't think that Twitter should notify people when their tweets have been reported, because I've seen people brag about tweets that are horrible shit about me get reported, and it shows they got reported, and then they get a result saying, oh, we didn't find anything wrong with your tweet, and then they go with that to troll me more. So that too, but there needs to be some kind of support system for the wrestling community, just everybody. I feel like there needs to be some kind of place where people can go to deal with this stuff, because it's really hard to deal with alone.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I saw I saw it earlier, the chats move too much sense, which is great actually that people are as involved as they are, that I'm missing stuff. But I saw someone saying something about, like, Steven, not everybody's as strong as you are, like, when it comes to that stuff, like, it really affects some people. And I totally agree. That's why I was saying, that's why I was making it clear, like, that's how I look at it, but everybody is going to handle this stuff differently. So, like, I'm not unsympathetic to it. I'm just saying, from my perspective, I wish she could have just blocked those people out of her life and just, like, like, it would be great if there was a way to just not deal with activity, but I think that's a great idea what you just said. Like, if there was a place for people to come to, if they're being cyberbullied or whatever, because that's a whole thing that would take way too long to talk about with, like, just social media in general. But, like, as long as Twitter is, like, clearly stating in like their guidelines, like you cannot cyberbully people on our platform, which I think has been made pretty clear by them. Is like, okay, if we see you cyberbullying people, especially if an incident happens based off of it, we're gonna investigate it. We might even get police involved and like do a legitimate investigation. And you are gonna be held liable. Like if we find out the IP address where this tweet came from, and like you are saying, I hope you kill yourself or kill yourself, like whatever you're saying. If you're saying something threatening, if you're like, you should be held responsible for it. There should be,
Absolutely.
you should not be anonymous saying those kind of things to people. Granted, that is kind of what the internet exists based off of, was like kind of anonymity and like being able to kind of do what you want, kind of the Wild West without much rules. But the more that the internet becomes ingrained in our society, and everybody uses it, everybody's got it on their phones, everybody carries a phone at this point, and something that just can't really be ignored at this point. Like there's even, I mean, I'm sure you remember like back in the day, like even like revenge porn, like when that was happening, like
That's illegal.
but it wasn't before.
No, it wasn't. Now it is.
Like
Thank
it
God.
used to be totally legal. The guy, Hunter Moore was like the face of it all. That dude was publicly talking about it all the time. He's like, I know it's fucked up. I know I'm ruining people's lives, but there's no laws against it. I'm making a ton of money on doing this. And now it's completely illegal, and you serve jail time on it.
It's a felony.
But that's what needs to happen with all these platforms, is like, okay, there was no precedent for some of this stuff before, but we need to make a precedent, because there's things happen often enough now where like there has to be some sort of protocol of like, if we prove that you were bullying people online, like you can't do that on our platform, and the punishment can vary, depending on what was said and stuff. So like I'm with you. There needs to be accountability, and it's terrible to see a young life lost. Such a, not just because she was as talented as she was, but just the fact that anybody losing their life over, it's worst case scenario. It sucks.
Yeah, and before we get to our sponsors, we did have another super chat from Ahmed. Shout out to Corey. You've been great, bruh. Yeah, thank you so much, Corey. Corey is always in our chats. He's a great mod. He's always giving us fun matches to watch on Twitter, always giving us a really positive message, always sending us support. And Corey, you deserve the same support and appreciation and love as well. I appreciate you so much, and thank you for everything that you've done for us.
Yeah, I really, Corey, just piggybacking on that, I like the stuff you tag us in, because I was a big fan of a lot of this stuff as well, like the PWG stuff, and it's like they're cool blast from the past, like just the other day you sent something about Paul London and Bryan Danielson when they were doing the Swarm promo from PWG, which is one of my favorite promos ever, and I hadn't watched it in a long time, so or even the six-way match where you sent the end of the triple shooting star press and stuff from that PWG 6-man. Like I appreciate the stuff that you I appreciate you, man. I appreciate everybody in the chat, and we're getting more and more super chats as we go. So I don't want to miss any of these super chats. Thank you so much for this.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna start with Jay Rojas. AEW has been doing amazing with Dynamite. I don't care about rating comparisons, but what do y'all think is going to get AEW past 1.5 million again? What do you think, Jessi? What do you think AEW would need to do to get higher ratings?
I just think with time. I feel like you can't rush something like that. Rome wasn't built in a day, as they say. I feel like what they're doing now is great. I feel like what they're doing is establishing themselves as an alternative to other bigger brands. I don't feel like it's something they need to rush and push, because then it would feel inauthentic. So I feel like they just need to keep on keeping on. I mean, I feel like it'll get there. I feel like you have to really establish yourself as a consistently great product. And I really do feel like they'll get there eventually. Don't know when. I don't think it'll be overnight. I don't think there's one certain thing that they could do. I think it's a collection of things, and they're doing it right so far. So that's what I think.
Yeah, I think they need to stay the course. I think they need to, like I said earlier, I think they need to be smart about their future hires in comparison to their current roster. If they put together the right roster, the right mixture of homegrown stars that they push and build themselves, and a mixture of well-known names from other major promotions, mainly WWE, but they're also going to over time get probably stars from New Japan and people from Ring of Honor or just like the Indies in general. And there's basically the more they can keep putting that roster together. They already have a great roster, but there's going to be some key signings, I feel like, very soon. If they haven't already been signed, we'll be seeing more people popping up on television soon. And even like Brian Cage, he basically made the majority of his name, he made an Impact. And, he was a top guy in Impact. Now he's looking like he's going to be a top guy, at least initially, in AEW. One thing that I think is worth really keeping in mind is that AEW runs on Wednesdays, and obviously so does NXT.
Yeah.
And I don't know what ratings to really expect as far as I don't know how many people just in general are kind of programmed to even watch wrestling on Wednesdays. I think it would be very interesting. I know it's still really early on, and I know it has not worked in the past for other companies, mainly Impact Wrestling, and obviously WCW. But if I'm AEW, I am strongly considering running against Raw on Monday nights.
Ooh, yeah.
Because WWE is ripe for the picking right now. The ratings are low, the interest is low, the roster seems...
Or on Fridays.
Well, I don't even... Well, here's the thing. I really don't even just want to... I mean, I'd watch AEW because I'm a fan, but even when I know SmackDown's on Fridays, I still opt to really not even watch it. I just don't care about the show right now. Watch AEW over SmackDown, but I think that Monday, forever has been established as the night for wrestling since the mid-90s.
True.
Monday Night Raw, WCW Nitro. For a very short time, you had Impact Wrestling. I think Monday night is a prime night for professional wrestling, and I think that WWE fans, people who mainly watch WWE, might not pay really any attention to AEW. I think those people would be really, really surprised with how split I think the fan base would be on Mondays immediately.
Yeah.
If there was 3 million people watching Raw, and obviously it's been much lower than that lately.
Ooh, it's been bad.
But let's say that there was 3 million people watching Raw, I think AEW could get around 1 million of those people to jump. I really do. I think that right off the bat, there would be immediate interest in wrestling fans who are already watching AEW. Like a lot of the AEW fan base, I think, would jump immediately.
Oh yeah, but Jay made a good point. He would never want to go against Monday Night Football.
That's very true. And I don't know how you combat that other than maybe you
Seasons.
Different. Well, they even used to have a problem for years, for at least a decade, maybe longer. Raw used to also have to account for the dog show once a year.
That's right.
They would air that on USA instead of Raw. Maybe you work around that. I don't know exactly how you combat that, but that is a very, very valid point. Monday Night Football absolutely hurts wrestling ratings, but that's also only part of the year too. So, it depends. But I don't know. I feel like that would be a big step because that's the thing. It would either be a huge step for AEW to be able to do something like that, or it could potentially kill the company. It would be a humongous.
Yeah.
But now would be the best time. Sometime soon, because like I said, I literally at this point I turn on Monday Night Raw out of strict habit. I rarely pay attention to the show anymore. I just kind of have it on in the background. I have 2 screens in my living room, so I usually just have that on mute on one of them, and I'm just doing whatever on the other screen, or reading a good book like this Ken Shamrock by Jonathan Snowden that I just got the other day. Incredible stuff. So there's I feel like I miss kind of overwatching Raw at the moment, but that doesn't mean I'm overwatching wrestling on Mondays. I want a fucking alternative. And AEW provides a great alternative for me. I just have to wait till Wednesdays to watch it. But if they ran a show on Mondays, I would. If I could only watch one show, if I didn't have multiple screens and all these other options, I would literally just choose watching AEW over WWE in any scenario right now. So that's where I'm at. But that was a great question. I don't know what AEW does on Wednesdays to really get the ratings higher, other than just doing what they're doing, like you said.
Word of mouth.
But but it's been reported, plenty of times that AEW has been basically asked to do a second show.
They're gonna do one. I think the pandemic kind of ruined it for now.
Yeah, but when's that second show gonna be? I mean, I'd keep a Wednesday show, and that other show. I mean, if it's me, I'm going head to head with one of the WWE shows. I'm either going head to head with Raw or head to head with SmackDown. I'm not avoiding them. I would right after them. I wouldn't do that in the past because it would have been too risky and WWE's too powerful. But at the moment, WWE, I mean, the interest is just so low and the show's just so not good.
I dread watching it.
Yeah, there's like a couple high points, and the rest of it is just like I can totally take it or leave it. AEW, I feel like I'm missing out. I get FOMO. Like if I miss AEW, I feel like I've missed something important.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, I'm not.
That's how I feel. Awkward Unicorn. I saw that she was leaving the chat. I've actually got a shout out for her, so she's probably gonna miss it. But I have her YouTube ready, pulled up to show everybody. But yeah, I guess now's a good time to let everybody know if you have any. Oh wait, there was another super chat that we.
Oh, it was.
From DeAndre, if you want to read that, $10.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, DeAndre. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Jessi and Steven and Corey. This chat and you guys have been high five, 100. Thank you. I appreciate that. Is that the one? And then, yeah, I think that was it.
Yeah.
Cool. Whew, okay. So sorry about that. I completely missed it. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Everybody in the chat today, man.
Yes, if we miss your super chat for some horrible reason, yell at us, please.
Yes. And this is a great segue to just let everybody know. We're starting to wrap the podcast up today. The thumbs up, the likes help out the algorithm a lot on YouTube, helps other wrestling fans find the show, recommends it to other people and stuff like that, help kind of grow our little community of wrestling fans here. So it takes no time at all. It's totally free to just hit that like button. Helps us out a lot. Giandre with another super chat says, I'm going to dip. Thank you guys. And Jessi is amazing. I agree.
Thank you so much. And so is Steven. And everybody's amazing. Thank you so much, DeAndre. Thank you so much for being a part of this. We appreciate it so much. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Yes. And he sent that right as I was about to say, like, if you have any last minute super chats, anything that you want us to know or to read out loud, or any questions that you want us to dive deep on before we get off the show, I'm going to read out about our sponsors right now and get any last minute super chat in during that. I'll talk about our sponsors. Jessi's going to talk a little bit about stuff she's got going on. And then when we're done with that, we will knock out any super chats that are left before we go off air. So as far as our sponsors, this isn't a sponsor, but this is somebody I shouted out on the last podcast, and I'll give her another shout out here because she wanted she had won essentially a prize from the podcast, but I can't physically get it to her because of where in the world she lives. But she has a YouTube channel, so check it out. Just go to Awkward Unicorn, and she has there's like Fortnite gameplay and stuff like that, and yeah, a bunch of stuff on there.
It's really cute editing. We really like it, or I do.
Yeah, very, very well edited. And she's a big supporter of the show, so I wanted to make sure to tell people about our YouTube channel because, like I said, I wanted to send her a prize that she had won recently, but physically mailing it to her is an issue, especially right now with what things are going on in the world. Obviously, it's a little bit of an issue sending stuff. So yeah, check out Awkward Unicorn's channel, and thank you to Awkward Unicorn for supporting the show. Also, thank you to WrestleRumble.com for supporting the show. The WrestleRumble.com Pick'em contests are currently not open because there is not a show that they're doing one for at the moment, but I've talked about it before. There is a huge giveaway happening on WrestleRumble.com pretty soon. I'm not allowed to say the date, and I'm not allowed to say the prizes, but the prize list is insane. It's probably the best giveaway they've ever done, and I'm like that.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's and they've done some incredible giveaways over the years, and this is up there. So just keep your eyes open in your ears. Keep your eyes peeled and your ears open, I should say. And just WrestleRumble.com. Go on Twitter, give them a follow at WrestleRumble to stay up to date with all their contests. Also, shout out to Brian Jensen. This is my brother. He is a part owner of Steel Boxing and Athletics in Atlanta, Georgia, small gym here in Atlanta. He also does Parkinson's Foundation work. He can help you get in better shape, reach your goals, learn how to throw hands. If you compete at an amateur or professional level, he can help corner you, train you, all that stuff. Even if you're a professional wrestler and you just want kind of some different stuff, like if you're looking to improve like what your striking looks like in the ring, Brian can help you with that kind of stuff too. So make sure to hit him up on Instagram at BoxingATL. That's BoxingATL. Here's a couple examples. See, this is a police officer that he trains.
Yes, I saw this. I love this.
Yep, that guy hits hard too. So yeah, I mean, this guy is a legitimate police officer, obviously. Current police officer. My brother trains the guy, just keeps him in shape, helps him fight the bad guys. Also, if you don't want to be inside right now because of the pandemic, you can meet you out in a park. Pretty simple, right? Mm-hmm. If you're not able to meet him in person, he'll help you online. This is him with some Parkinson's patients. He's helping them over a webcam. So he can help you out. He can help you reach your goals. Just follow him once again on Instagram at BoxingATL. And thank you to Brian for being a part of the show. And lastly, I have Heroes and Legends. They are a professional wrestling memorabilia company that has like autographs, DVDs, old programs and magazines and figures and all that kind of stuff. Make sure to follow them on all social media at HL Pro Wrestling. And they do giveaways and stuff like that. Like they had Francine on a recent episode or a recent giveaway, or I shouldn't say giveaway, live auction. So they're involved with wrestlers. They do conventions. Really nice people. They'll do fair business. So once again, thank you to Heroes and Legends Pro Wrestling Collectibles for being a part of the show. And make sure to follow them once again on all social media at HL Pro Wrestling. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at FightTalk_. That's FIGHTTALK_. I will be recording the Fightful Select Weekender podcast for Fightful.com. Pretty much right after this, talking Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, NWA, the Indies, all that kind of stuff. And, I still do video editing for MMA On Point and whatnot. So yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, FightTalk_.
Yeah, I was trying to
right
point
now
to
for
it.
me. I try to keep everybody updated on the stuff that I do. The best place to stay up to date with that kind of stuff is just follow me on Twitter at FightTalk_. Jessi, what do you have going on?
Well, if you guys ever want to make sure that you get a notification, like a push notification from YouTube about us going live, you'll get a reminder 30 minutes before. Just subscribe, hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell so you never miss a video, and you can get notified when we go live, and you can join in the chat. So that's the best way. Please subscribe to the channel if you feel like this is something you want to continue watching. I want to thank everyone so much for all of the super chats and the fantastic chat, our great mods, our great regulars. Such a fun chat, such a fun show. Really, really appreciate it. Obviously, for me, the best way to contact me is to find me on Twitter at Jessi the Buckeye, JESSITAGBUCKEYE. However, the best way to contact me, to talk to me, and to see other fun exclusive stuff is to subscribe to my OnlyFans. The link is right there in my profile description on Twitter. It's onlyfans.com/Jessi the Buckeye, JESSITHEBUCKEYE. I try to answer DMs every day. I've literally not taken a day off on OnlyFans since I started. There's never been a day where I haven't been on there responding to people, getting requests done. I've been super busy these past couple weeks, so I haven't been able to get there as much as I'd like, but I'm there every day for hours answering messages. So please, if you want to go there, that's the best way to directly support me. It's onlyfans.com/Jessi the Buckeye. I do have a Papa John's Pizza code, which we forgot to mention last time, but that's okay. It's JESSI25, and that's 25% off your regularly priced online order, and you can use up to 100 times until the end of the year. I think that's it. Just subscribe, like this video if you feel like this was something you liked. OnlyFans, Twitter, Papa Bless. Yes.
Yes. If we ever, I know you had like a graphic made at some point for the Papa John's. If we make a little graphic code, I can have that like running
Oh, okay.
as well, like with like the sponsors and stuff. Those little images that I have all.
Yeah.
Past.
I can do that.
Yeah, we'll try to get something so I can display that code. But yeah, this has been a great show.
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Feel very fortunate. We really a lot of super chats today. A lot of activity from the chat as far as just people in general just talking and everyone's saying positive. I mean, this is what we are striving to do. Like this was the whole point of us doing these live chats. No bullying, trying to stay positive. Even though I might get negative about certain things about pro wrestling, at the end of the day, I'm doing it because I love pro wrestling and I want pro wrestling to be better, just like everybody does. Certain people I like, there's certain people I don't like. There's certain storylines I'm interested in, there's certain storylines I'm not interested in. But at the end of the day, I don't want anybody out of work. I don't want anybody getting, So I really appreciate the attitude people have had in these live chats and the activity we've had in these live chats, the support we've gotten through super chats, or even just people just saying nice stuff about us on Twitter and stuff. It's all very appreciated, and it's a big reason why we do these chats as often as we do. We try to do them at least twice a week, and we obviously put them out there for free for you all to watch. So any support that you show continues to help the show be free, for one, but for two, it's like, if we weren't getting any feedback and no support, I don't know if we do the show, because I don't know if people, like, if nobody cared or nobody wanted to watch it, like, why would we spend our time doing it? So
Yeah.
we really, really, really appreciate it, and it's great that we've been doing this such a short amount of time, and we're getting the amount of support that we are. I really can't say thank you enough to everybody
Oh, so sweet.
that's been coming, and I mean it means a lot. Especially
Yeah.
pull back the curtain a little bit too for anybody still listening, the hardcore listeners that are still past the ad reads and everything. I'm currently in the process of pulling back my workload at MMA On Point. I'm still doing video editing, and I'm still involved with their social media to a degree, but I've been between me and the mainly one of the owners of the channel. It's been a process lately for the last actually probably 3 months or so of basically training somebody to replace me on social media, and that was my decision. It was something that I and part of that decision was because of things like this. I wanted more free time to try to branch out and do things like this podcast, and having episodes like we had today, the support we got today, and we've been getting it every episode. It isn't just, but today it's especially highlighted. That I know I'm making the right decision. I knew when I made these changes at MMA On Point, I was going to take a financial hit because of it. But when things like this happen, it's like I know I made the right choice because, I feel like we're doing something good. Whether we got no super chats or a bunch of super chats, I know that people are enjoying the show, and I'm glad that we're able to do this for y'all.
Yes.
And I don't feel like and I don't feel like I'm wasting my time. That's the big thing. I don't feel like I'm giving up an opportunity, because I've been doing that stuff with MMA On Point for like 2.5 years. Like, I'm basically giving up an opportunity, a job, basically a dream job that I had to try to do something that I want to do even more, which is things like this. Mm-hmm. So, thank you all so much. Thank you, Jessi. Obviously, this show isn't possible without you.
It was your idea.
Yeah, it was my idea, and people don't know, like, we pitched this show to some outlets that passed on it, and that I have no ill will towards those people. We were an unproven show. I mean, I have my history of doing the stuff that I've done. Jessi has her history with the stuff she's done on YouTube and stuff, or on YouTube and Twitter. And we felt like we had some sort of value in this space. And while we're still a very, very small show, I think that it started off very, very well. And I think we're only going to continue to grow the audience, our little community, and
I'm very happy with my, at this point at least, I'm very happy with my my recent decisions in
Me too.
um so yeah, that's all I've got to say, but I'm very grateful for those of you who are part of this show, and whether you're a fan or you're whatever, just thank you.
Bless you, my children. Not my children, my peers. Thank you. I think that's a perfect way to end it.
Let's get out of here. I don't know
All
if
right.
we'll be back next. Today is what, Sunday, so maybe Tuesday or something like that.
Yeah, Tuesday or Thursday or something.
Yeah, we'll do like Tuesday or Thursday. If there's big news in the wrestling world, that's why it's so important to subscribe to the channel and be following us on Twitter. And that's because some big news could break tomorrow night for all we know. And if we're both available, we'll hit each other up. If we're both free, we might just jump on the stream. But you wouldn't know that we're live unless you're subscribed to the channel or following us on Twitter, because there's really no other way of knowing, because we obviously do not follow any kind of set schedule. So so yeah, we'll be sometime this week, at least once or twice more before the end of the week. So until then, everyone take care. Thank you all once again very much. I very much appreciate everything.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, and we will see you on the next live chat.
Bye.
Profits.
Bye, chat.
Pizza.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye. See ya.